Hello, and welcome to the Old Soul Archaeology Podcast. My name is Michelle Janae. Thank you for tuning in and listening. Are you ready to dig deep? Hi, my name is Michelle Janae with Old Soul Archaeology. This is Point of Departure, and today I want to talk about the energy of showing up. Now you'll see that I have this virtual background behind me, in addition to a filter frame that takes care of the background behind me, which at the moment is a beautiful headboard created by my husband, but covered with a gray blanket in an attempt to create a green screen effect or something of the sort. We're in the process of ordering some actual photographic backdrops for me as I transition my podcast to more online, as I transition my podcast to more video outputs. Not to say that it will disappear from Anchor FM, Spotify, iTunes, wherever it's found, but I'm looking forward to showing up more on YouTube. So today I wanted to talk about the energy of showing up, because for many of us, it can feel scary. It can feel disjointed. It can feel like, oh my gosh, I just lost a part of myself. If you're watching the YouTube video, you can see how the image changes. I feel like I'm Obi Wan Kenobi or some Jedi master in Star Wars who kind of comes into the frame and pops out. And now I can understand all of that technology from that time period. But I think that the metaphor is real for how we can often feel when we show up. Now, of course, Old Soul Archaeology is all about inner wisdom. It's all about digging deep, going inside to find those parts of ourselves that maybe haven't shown up for us yet, or that we're not paying attention to, so we can't put them on stage just yet. Unfortunately, many of us are living in bodies and minds that have been dictated to by external sources. So in essence, the hologram that shows up isn't actually even us. It's a picture of a conglomeration of ideas that are largely not our own. This can totally complicate how we show up, but that's not to say that when we get in touch with our inner wisdom that it's any easier to show up, as we still battle the insecurities that we have around showing up for people, around being on stage, around being seen. I was looking at my friend Joey Garrity's website, 113branding.com, that's 113branding.com, just yesterday. And on one of her blog posts or in her about section, she had noticed, now she's all about branding, she's all about helping people show up, but she had noticed a quote at some point in her career from Oprah Winfrey about success. And the quote was that you're not ready for success unless you're ready for people to talk about you. And it's so the truth. The more we show up, the more we put ourselves out there as objects for people to talk about. And it can be uncomfortable. In fact, it can be more uncomfortable to be ourselves than it can be to wear the mask that might protect us to some degree from the darts we think we're receiving from other people. And I want to call these energetic darts. So to use a story from my own example, or to use an example from my own story, I want to say that for many, many years, I was a compulsive people-pleasing rule follower, or a compulsive rule-following people-pleaser. And in that sense, I wore a mask. I wore whatever mask I needed to show up for people to please them. And of course, you can imagine the conflict in my psyche, the conflict in my heart, because of course, because we can't please everyone, I didn't realize that I was constantly changing masks, but I felt like that at least if I had a mask on, I had some kind of psychic protection against criticism from whoever I wasn't concerned with pleasing. And maybe they were just off my radar, because if they were on my radar as a compulsive, rule-following people pleaser, I was certain to be concerned with pleasing them. And so I would often have contradictory issues that I was dealing with at one time. And the amount of masks, hypothetical masks that I wore, metaphorical masks or allegorical masks, however you want to see it, I was often not myself because I wasn't in touch with my own inner wisdom. I wasn't in touch with my voice. I was trying to be whatever voice pleased them, which meant that I was always trying to get the A, or I was striving for the job that I thought I would please society or my parents or whatever norm I thought I was having to follow. And the interesting thing is, we all have these ideas in our heads. We all have these conditions that are set upon us and that in many ways we accept because of the conditioning. So in essence, if you're wearing a mask and someone shoots a dart or a spitball, it's not going to actually hit you, right? It won't hit your skin. It won't sting your face because you have a mask of protection. Not that we don't feel it, not that we want a spitball or a dart to come our way, but there's this illusion of protection in that. You can see, if you're watching me on YouTube, you can see even my shoulder is kind of disappearing right now. I'm almost shape-shifting now. I have, there it is. There's my shoulder. It's popped back into view. I'm trying not to move too much because it's a little odd watching this Obi Wan Kenobi come in and out of the digital screen. That being said, I will soon have actual photographic backdrops and not digital ones. So we'll have some cool, I'll have a cool background for you to view while I deliver my message. Ooh, all my hair just disappeared. So the energy of showing up is a complicated energy. But the energy of inner wisdom is so pure and so enlightening. And it doesn't make all of our issues go away, but it certainly grounds us in ourselves. And it's a process. It's a process of saying, hey, your voice is worth hearing. Your voice, your opinions, your approach to the world is worth living, not just worth hearing. It's worth it for you to live who you are, even in the midst of spitballs and darts, even when you don't have a mask on. And there may be things that people say, because they're always saying things, right? They're saying things whether we have masks on or not. They're saying things that we can choose to allow to hurt us, or we can choose to build a defense system against in our own self-confidence, in our own self-awareness, in our own powerful choice to be ourselves. It's incredibly powerful, yet it's incredibly powerful. And yes, it can be scary, but honestly, it's not much scarier at all than being someone else who still is subject to criticism and who is still subject to judgment and who's still subject to people talking about you. Take any famous person at this time, and people are talking about them, and people are positive about them, and people are negative about them. People have their opinions, and that's okay. You have your opinions. I have my opinions. But it's okay to show up. It's okay to embody the energy of who you are. That is really the energy of showing up. The energy of showing up, whether you have a beautiful vinyl photographic background behind you that doesn't make you look like Obi Wan Kenobi, or you have a digital background that kind of distorts you on videos, makes you look like you're appearing and disappearing. It doesn't matter, because the energy is within you. And my job with Old Soul Archaeology is to help you Tap into that amazing well of wisdom that is within you to help you ground yourself in something that is so totally you, so that you don't have to feel like you're subject to the whims of everyone else around you. Because that's never, ever, unless it resonates with who you actually are, it's never pleasant. It may feel good in the moment because you've avoided the dart, but you haven't avoided all the darts. Somebody's got a dart. Somebody's got a spitball. But when you are you, when you are truly you, the spitballs matter a whole lot less. And in fact, you actually start to attract an army of people around you who protect you, who are willing to stand up in front of whatever barrage of darts and spitballs is coming your way. Your tribe is out there. The people who love you for you, they are out there. I know they're out there for me. They are out there for you. So today's podcast is really short. Hopefully next time I actually have a photographic background for the YouTube video. Hopefully next time I have something different to say that's maybe more poignant for you, maybe relates more. But today my message is just that the energy of showing up, even when it doesn't feel totally natural because you're so accustomed to showing up in a different way, to showing up as someone else, to showing up in your masks. Showing up as yourself is powerful. It's a power that society doesn't want you to have. It's a power that is so incredibly forceful and strong. It's in you. It's in me. It's in everyone. And the more we can embrace that, the more we can actually see that we are one and the same, and we can appreciate each other's individualities and each other's differences and each other's similarities for everything they are as simple expressions of one source. Maybe we can let go of all of our insecurities about ourselves and about other people. Truly, when you start showing up as yourself, you start accepting how other people are also showing up, whether they're wearing masks or not. You start to accept their path as being their own. There's a phrase that I use, and it's, "This path I honor." The more I honor my own path, the more I honor that of others. I may not always agree with how it's going. I might have done something differently, but I've certainly made my own mistakes and have had other people think that I should have done things differently. But they're my lessons to learn. And everyone else has their own lessons to learn. And it's not my job. It's not my job to judge. It's not my job to determine. It's not my job to give unsolicited advice. What I see as my calling is to help people discover their own inner wisdom. I am no one's guru. I am no one's expert. Sure, I have a resume of skills and talents that I bring to my work, but what I do with them is share them with you to allow you to use them in the way that you will, in the way that's best for you, in a way that empowers you. Unfortunately, so many experts want you to rely on them in a way that is actually disempowering. The more you rely on external wisdom, external sources, external everything else, the more you give away your own power. Now, don't get me wrong. External wisdom is amazing. I read voraciously. I read probably some 10 to 20 books a month. I love other people's wisdom. But what I have to do is still check in with myself. How does this resonate with me? How does this work for me in my life? Is this something I really want to absorb and integrate? Or is this something I want to leave for now? This doesn't make sense to me given my current worldview. And yet I want to have an open mind and I want to explore this amazing universe of possibilities and potentialities. And so I do that. I keep an open mind. And even the people I disagree with, I try to understand where they are coming from. I think the greatest creative act is an act of empathy, imagining not only that we walk in another's shoes, as the common phrase goes, but that we actually feel like we're embodying their heart and soul. What would it be like to be them? What would it be like to be them as they're showing up as themselves? Or what would it like to be them if they're actually just wearing a mask like I did for so many years? And that's not to say I still don't have my masks, and I still don't have my fears about showing up and who I might hurt and who might hear something the wrong way. But I'm learning that my intentions do matter. It's really hard to explain, hard to speak to. But I hope I've shared with you today that the energy of showing up is within you. The energy of being you is within you. It's your inner wisdom. It's your inner connection to source, your divine self, your higher wisdom. And I'm not meaning to say that you supplant God necessarily, but I am saying that you have more connection to him than you know. I was brought up to have an intermediary between me and God. We didn't have direct conversations because I wasn't worthy according to the precepts that they taught. But you are worthy. I am worthy of accessing the universal consciousness that Jung speaks of, Carl Jung, the divine wisdom that is yours and yours alone, and the divine wisdom that is our collective right. It's truly amazing. So as I show up as Obi Wan Kenobi today, doing my Jedi tricks with the digital screen here, I invite you to think about how you are showing up in the world, and to think about the energy you bring to everything you do. Hopefully, it's an energy of inner wisdom. For more information on accessing your inner wisdom and some of the tools I use, please visit www.oldsoularchaeology.com. The links will be in most of the common places where you find the podcast, whether on YouTube or whether it's video or audio. You can Google Michelle Janae, MiCheleJennae. Old Soul Archaeology on Facebook. Old Soul Oracle is another great way to find me. It's one of the tools I use to help you tap into your inner wisdom. It's truly amazing. You'll be so incredibly surprised at the power that you have within you, at the wisdom, the deep well of internal wisdom that you already have access to. You have so many of your answers already. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Point of Departure with Old Soul Archaeology. My name is Michelle Janae, and until next time, dig deep.